melt is when I'm ocean waves.
Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have two of the best strikers in the Washington, D.C. area. Gage Lyons from McLean High School, also formerly D.C. United, I believe SYC MLS Next now. And Matthew Lenert back with me again on Marshall High School, also Union for club soccer. Matthew's going to college in Charleston next year to play soccer, and Gage is going to West Point. So guys, congratulations. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me just talk about you guys a little bit more, because I know a lot about you. So Gage was one of these goal scoring legends as a little kid. He used to get like 5 goals in a futsal game. So I've been watching Gage play, along with Chandler, even though Chandler was usually a great hire. But and listening to Gage's father, Mike, on the sidelines is always puts on a good show.
Yeah.
Gage briefly, I think not even briefly, but played for DC United for several seasons. And then when they kind of fell apart for certain age groups, they kind of disbanded. I think you joined Loudon briefly, and then you went to Union, and then Union is a combination of McLean and SYC. So I think you played more on the SYC side this year. Recently had a great year, as I said, was player of the year in the northern region, player of the year in the Liberty District, and McLean was probably one of the top teams all year long. Unfortunately for McLean, got knocked off by Centerville. These things happen. But Gage, did I get most of that right?
Yeah, basically. But last year I played for Virginia Union, like the McLean side, though.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
you played with Matthew. So, well, Matthew, I think you spent most of your time playing for McLean as a youth, even though you played for Arlington, I think 1 season or 2.
Yeah, I played Arlington for like a season or 2. Yeah,
Okay.
like at the U14 level.
Yeah. So, but he's Bo Amata, coach of Langley, says that you're going to be a pro one day. That's how impressed he is with you. Had a great season this year, scored a lot of goals. Unfortunately, Marshall had a better team this year, but still, it was Liberty District is just so tough. Also, was two-time player, two-time first team all Northern Region in basketball. Definitely can play basketball at the next level as well. But he's going to pursue the beautiful game. At least it looks like for now. So, Matthew, did I get most of that right?
You did. Okay.
And obviously, full disclosure, I have a long relationship playing basketball with Matthew's dad, Keith. Went to UVA with him. He played goalie on the for UVA, and then also the Diplomats and other pro teams. So anyway, guys, I thought we'd start by going over the season so far. The season this year, unfortunately for you guys, it's both over. It's already over. So Matthew, why don't you start on this one? I know going into the season we talked, and you didn't know what to expect in terms of who was going to try out for soccer. One thing about soccer, you never know if the best players are going to even play on the team. Every team is affected by this. But I know you still had, still had high hopes for the season. How'd the season go from your perspective? And I definitely think you guys were improved from last year.
Yeah, no, we were definitely much better than last year. I feel like we all, like, the team chemistry was there. We worked hard like every game. We played with intensity, which also wasn't something we played with last year. But I feel like every game was like obviously difficult, but we stuck in, like, we were like in every game until like maybe like the last 20 minutes we'd concede some goals because if like we weren't scoring like early, that we tended to like drop the level, I guess, and then that's when like opponents scored most of their goals. So, but I feel like for at least the first half or something like that, we were mostly in the game. So honestly, the season went well for me.
Yeah, I mean, Leandro is a really good midfielder. He's another Joker guy that we've played with for years. And your brother Derek is going to be he's already a solid central defender. So you and then Sebi, I thought did a pretty good job as a 9 or a striker, I guess. So I definitely thought you had the pieces this year. But anyway, what about you, Gage? I know your sophomore year, you joined the team late. You and Kobe really changed the team. And I know we had a great game with Yorktown. The Yorktown team ended up winning the whole thing, but it was a knockdown, drag out affair. You guys could have put us out, and we ended up, I think we won 3-2 or 2-1. And then last year you started off playing, didn't finish the season. This
Mm.
year, I know you had a chip on your shoulder. You wanted to come out here and really prove yourself to your
Yeah.
team. Obviously, we all know you're a great player, but you really had you're determined to have a great high school season. So tell us about your season this year.
Obviously we had a great start. We had I think it was 8-0 we were. And we were playing really well as a team, a lot of confidence. Just overall, like everything was going well. But then the Herndon game came, and it was the first game where like we really got tested. Like every game before that, we won every game by at least 2, I think. And so it was our first close game. And I just feel like whenever we go down, like I'm pretty sure in every single game we've gone down, we've lost. And the reason is that because we get really flustered and we start like hitting like just like long balls out of bounds, or we start making mistakes in the back and we can't capitalize on our chances. And we're just like, we're a good team when we're winning, but we're an awful team when we're losing. Yeah. And so, yeah.
How would you compare this team to your McLean team as a sophomore, another strong side? And even last year, a team that came on late. I think you probably had a couple more central defenders last year. How would you compare this McLean team to your other McLean teams?
I think this McLean team overall, compared to the last 2 years, was definitely stronger. Just as a collective, like I'm pretty sure our whole starting 11 was ECNL, and like we had Graham this year, Jalen, and then Aram and Garrett in the back. I think the only piece last year that was like a huge difference was Will Mahoney.
Mhm.
That was the only player that was the guy because he was like a prominent center back in the back. But besides that, this year on paper, we were just 10 times better than both years.
Yeah, I don't think many teams have that many ECNL players.
Yeah, we were stacked this year. But like obviously in the Centerville game, Jalen and Graham were injured.
Mhm.
And so those are 2 starters that are like, that's our 6 and that's our 8. And so,
Yeah, I think one thing about high school that's frustrating is that you have to convince the best players to play. I know Yorktown had a hard time because Justin Melly's always willing to play for his high school, but he was so involved with DC United this year that he was just kind of wearing out over the season. And I think the day we went out against Wakefield, I think he had played 2 games that weekend and he couldn't even play. But I know part of the challenge of high school is getting players to sign on. I know Bethesda discourages players from playing high school. I know MLS Next, I guess there's a rule, or sometimes there seems to be a rule. So what about that, guys? What do you guys have to do to get kids to play? Is it a challenge?
I mean, there was one player, Matthew Helfridge, who goes to McLean. And it was just, he just didn't want to play because his coach at Bethesda obviously like threatens them with not playing. Like he's like, if you guys play high school, then you guys aren't going to play on this team and we're going to bench you. And so he's like, he thought MLS Next is more important for college, obviously, to like get seen by his coach. In high school doesn't matter. And also players that are younger, they want to get recruited. And high school takes a lot of your legs away. And it takes a lot of time, and then a lot of club coaches like take it personally. You don't come to practice, they don't play you in showcases or games where colleges are trying to recruit you. And I think that's the big thing in just recruitment, especially at this stage for sophomores and juniors. It's just hard to miss all those games and practices for club.
Yeah. So. Matt, do you want to add to that?
Yeah. I think for Marshall, we had a kid, a junior this year. I think his name's Chris Nibby, I'm pretty sure. He just committed to a High Point down in North Carolina. And I'm not really like personal friends with him, but some of my teammates are, and they're just like, all they've been trying to do is just like encourage him to play. And I guess like one of the like key factors of if they're gonna play or not is whether you're like your friends, your close friends, are like really trying to edge you to come play for high school. But then again, there's like opportunity costs. Like if you play for high school, you won't see as much time on the field for a club. And like Gage said, some coaches take that personal. So. It's just a lot of choices you have to make. So,
yeah. Well, it's interesting because Chandler, his Alexandria team was solid, but his Villarreal, his high school team was actually better than his club team, and at least as good. So it was a different experience for him. He couldn't wait to high school, and then his high school coach Aranda, is one of the best soccer minds you can ever be around. So it's a joy to play for Yorktown, but I understand it could be different. What are the kind of things that you guys learned from high school? What are some of the ways that you think high school made you a better player, if any?
Just like hold on, let me think about this.
For me, I think what I've seen like from playing high school and going into club games while I'm playing high school, I think I have more confidence, to be honest. Like I think on the field, like sometimes you become kind of a bot, especially when I was at DC United. Like I would just like touch and play, and try to play within the system. But in high school, you're obviously like especially for us, like we're like the star players on our team. And so we can like kind of freelance to do what we want. And that can hurt me in club, but I think for the most part, it's been positive for me. And I've been doing more stuff in club because of that.
Yeah, that's great. And Matthew, like, seems like to me you have a lot of responsibility at Marshall that you may be able to share more
Yeah.
in a club setup.
Yeah, no, for high school, I definitely do have more responsibility than club. Um, in high school, I feel like your leadership skills really are like exposed being like a top player on, let's say, like an average high school team. Um, one person can like just get mad at every bad touch, get mad at like every missed chance, or get mad at like anything that goes wrong. But I feel like that doesn't help at all. And in high school, especially, that's really tested. So I like to think of myself as a leader. So like if one of my teammates messed up, I just encourage them to make the next play or something. I feel like high school really tests that out.
Yeah. Well, you guys probably know Ricky Van High. Ricky's the guy I played yoga with Chandler and I think Gage for at least a little bit. And he didn't play high school last year, and West Potomac went all the way to state. They went on a roll. Jesse from SYC joined them, and by the end of the year, they were very strong. So, I was talking to his parents, said, whatever you do, make sure Ricky plays high school this year. She goes, well, I don't think the high school, the level's not as good. I say, it doesn't matter. The idea that you're carrying your team and you have to be, they may only have 2 or 3 top level players at your high school, but the challenge is you got to take your team to victory over the other school that has the same restraints. So it seems like to me, it's a different type of challenge that could be just as rewarding, or I think some would argue after many, many years of club, it might be a, kind of a welcome change.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. Like I feel like taking a team to win a district, to win a regional title, to win a state title, even it's just such a huge accomplishment. And I feel like you can't really get that same feeling in club.
Yeah, I think it's also more like it's definitely more of an accomplishment of just everything in high school, because like I've never played well on the weekend in club and gone back to school and people like, oh yo, good job in that game.
Nobody knows.
But like in high school, like just like random people are like, hey, good job in that game. I heard you scored 2 goals, or hey, like good job in regional player of the year. You know what I mean? Like no one's ever said to me, hey, good job on on any of my ECNL accolades. Like they just don't. No one cares, In high school, you're playing in front of your friends, and just like that feeling is just like you don't get that in club.
Yeah. So, and you guys played on really good teams. So you did have some, for games that were local, you had people come out. Can you imagine Chandler were just, a solid club team? By the time kids are driving, they drive themselves to games. Not even the parents are there anymore most of the time. So they would do these great things. No one was even there anymore. And then like late in the year, again, if you're not on a really good team, your club teams just fall apart in the spring. Seniors aren't interested in playing club soccer anymore. They're thinking about prom. They're thinking about everything else. High school, at least, when you play in front of Yorktown, the crowd is there. I mean, it means so much. You have loudspeaker. It gives you an environment that you just don't have in club. So
yeah, that's all true.
Yeah, and then when we play like McLean, and Marshall's not as big as rivalry as McLean because we haven't always been in your district. But McLean is a huge rival of Yorktown. It's only a mile and a half apart. So whenever we play McLean, it's just huge. I mean, and it's pretty good natured. McLean Yorktown's not like one of these bitter rivalries, but the kids can't wait to get off the bus and to play against McLean, which, you don't get that when you're playing against Arlington, when Chandler played for Alexander. Playing against Arlington for the 15th time in your life, it doesn't really do it for you anymore. So, yeah. So anyway, about other things about the different leagues have rules that discourage kids from playing in high school, like MLS Next. I know Gage had to deal with this last year. He was trying to balance, and even this year, trying to balance MLS Next and high school. Do you think there are things that should be done to make it easier for athletes to do both? Or do you think it's inevitable that high performing soccer players are going to have to choose one or the other?
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's kind of inevitable because like you can't really get recruited in high school, and it's impossible. And like all the high level players aren't in one place. And so like ECNL and MLS Next will always be there if you want to go to a higher level. So they're always gonna have to choose, especially if you're a sophomore or junior. It's more lenient when you're a senior though, because you're already committed.
So maybe the one thing is by the time you're a senior, maybe it's time to maybe focus on high school, at least that last season.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but some people like they want to go pro, and so you're not gonna go pro playing high school.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're like already committed, or no, if you haven't committed yet going into your senior year, it's really your choice. Like if you want to choose to like go to the next level, I mean, like if you really, really want that, I'd say stick with club and like maybe avoid high school, which obviously like is a challenge because everyone wants to play in front of their friends and have that like fun experience as a last year playing for your high school. But yeah, I feel like it's inevitable too.
Well, I feel like ECNL, they're more like they encourage high school almost. Like they're like if you see on the main page, they're posting about like all the players in ECNL who got Gator Player of the Year, and they're posting about it, and then they give seasons to certain teams like that are top heavy either in the spring or the fall based on where their high school seasons are. Like Maryland play all their games in the spring, and Virginia plays most of their games in the fall because that's what they know because high school plays. But MLS like doesn't do that because they hate it. And so
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why we have trouble. Chandler, you going to jump on? Okay. Whenever you're ready, just we'll talk. I think one of the challenges with working high school into the schedule is that the private schools and the Maryland schools play in the fall, as Gage was saying, and Virginia is in the spring. If they could find a way to limit high school season to maybe a 2-month window, one or the other, it might be easier for leagues to work around the high school schedule. What do you guys think about this ECNL versus MLS Next? I always thought it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, you have good teams in both leagues. Here, if you're in one league, you're playing all these teams from far away, and you're in the other league, you might be playing a different set of teams. And there might not often be interchanges between the teams unless there's like postseason, tournaments during the season or scrimmages. Don't you think there should be a better way for all the top teams to play in the same league?
Yeah, in my opinion, like one league with all like the top clubs, like combined MLS Next and ECNL would be extremely beneficial, and I'd probably like that more because I feel like there's like stereotypes where MLS Next is better than ECNL, but there are also some top level ECNL clubs who can beat MLS Next clubs and vice versa. Like playing or having all those teams playing like one league just makes them all more competitive.
Did you feel that you were penalized and getting exposure by being ECNL instead of MLS Next?
I guess so. I tend to think that college coaches see MLS Next as a higher level, which is true in some ways, is also untrue in some ways. So yeah, a little, yeah.
How about you, Gage?
Honestly,
You were able to do both.
yeah, for me, I actually think exposure is based off how like kind of good your team is. I don't think it's based off the league you're in. Because a lot of coaches, like a lot of colleges split where they go if they have showcases at the same time. Like two coaches will go to one and the other assistant coach will go to the other. And so like I feel like our Virginia Union team probably got more coaches at our games than like a low level MLS Next team last year. You know what I mean, Matthew?
Yeah,
Like
no.
because both leagues are so different, and like I feel like ECNL has a wider range of good teams. Like the line is higher than MLS Next, but MLS Next's best teams are better than the best ECNL teams.
Right.
That's how they
Yeah,
compare.
I can agree on that. And like, I think our first game in San Diego last year, we had around like 30 plus college coaches.
Yeah.
So like, college coaches definitely recognize ECNL
Mhm.
as they also obviously recognize or MLS Next.
So if you had a player, a younger player that you were advising, and he was a really good player, but he also had a really good high school team that wanted to play, would you advise him to play ECNL so he can do both, or would you tell him the drawbacks of not going MLS Next?
I would encourage him to play high school in ECNL, but if he does play high school, I'd also encourage him to at least look for like a higher level ECNL club, so that higher level ECNL club can still get the recognition, and as well as him being able to play high school.
So, guys, what about now I made a big deal on Instagram about your last high school game, and I remember when Chandler was playing his last game, it was against Gage's team, McLean, and they upset us, and they had a couple goals. We had, like Gage's team this year, we had some injuries that day, and that's the way it is. I mean, we had no excuse. We still had a good team on the field. They just beat us. What was that feeling? Your last kick of the ball with your high school. Is it much different than your last club game, or and Matthew, in your instance, your last high school basketball game, which I know was very emotional as well?
I honestly, my high school basketball, my last, I guess, like game from basketball for my high school was a little more emotional than soccer, and I think that's because I'm gonna be playing soccer at the next level. I'm not gonna be playing basketball anymore. Comparing last high school game to a last club game, I feel like last high school soccer game is definitely more emotional. I didn't play the whole 4 years. I didn't play freshman year, but like 3 years playing for a high school, like all your friends and like your teachers are even talking about your games. Like it's just like I just think it's more emotional than playing your last club game.
Yeah. How about you? How about you, Gage? I know it was tough for you guys to lose to Centerville because you'd beaten them earlier in the year, and you led in the game, and they scored a beautiful goal to tie it up. But you had to have a feeling that's a game you could have won.
Oh man, it was definitely the most sad I've ever been after like any sports game ever. It was so bad, and especially just like all the hype around us, and like all the we were talking so much. Like Matthew knows, like we were talking so much, and we thought we were so good, and like our whole school, we were like the only boys team that was still in. And so like there's just a lot of people watching us and thought we were gonna go far. We had a lot of expectations going into it. You know what I mean? And so and like it hit me like probably a day after that. It was like my last high school game. And, it's kind of frustrating because you get to like Matthew, you probably felt this, like we can't do it again.
Yeah, can't
You
get
know what
that
I
bad.
mean? We can't do it again. Like we can't go back and like get revenge because we're done. Like
And
we'll never step on a high school field again and put on a high school jersey again with our
yeah,
friends. And it's
yeah,
just and then also like you saw in the Centerville game, I made that run at the end, and then I did a 1-2 with Jeremy, and then just like after I shot that left foot shot and it got blocked, it's just the worst feeling in the world. Just off because I knew the game was over when that shot got blocked. It was done, and I was like, damn.
From where I wasn't behind the goal. I was on the side. I mean, you laced it. So if that guy doesn't get a piece of it,
Yeah.
always going to have to just be in the way, or he's not going to be able to save it. So I thought sure the game was going to go into overtime, which for the neutrals that would have been fun because it was Centerville. They have some talent. Their midfielders are really good. They do a lot of creative stuff. I think you guys definitely have more attacking talent than they do, but they have a really good team. So I kind of wanted to see more. It was such a good game. But they really did play a good game, and that goal they had, the header, Carlos, the header pass to their first goal, that was an amazing pass. It was fun to watch that.
Yeah.
For neutral. So, well, yeah. So anyway, I guess we're gonna we'll start talking about the game coming up Wednesday. Wednesday, Herndon is playing. Chandler, you gonna jump on? All right. Oh, there he is.
Y'all hear me?
So, well, let me introduce, in my opinion, this is one of the greatest midfielders in the history of soccer. I mean, to watch this kid play soccer is something else. And well, he happens to be my son, but Chandler played in the midfield with Yorktown the last 2 years, played against Gage and Matthew, but also grew up playing, with Gage a little bit in Joga, knows the guys well. And he's actually been with me. We watched Langley play 3 times this year, and also Herndon. So he'll have strong opinions. Chandler, good morning, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's my first time on in like two and a half years. Like, it's a nepotism free show, Like,
That's right. Yeah. I don't invite just anybody. You have to at least
Yeah.
do the dishes or something to get on this show.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the McLean. I'm sorry, the Herndon Langley game. So,
Damn.
well, let's talk about Langley first. Now, if someone told you guys at the beginning of the year, especially Gage after you guys beat them, and I think Matthew, you guys played them tough. If someone would told you guys that Langley would be going to the state tournament again this year, would you guys have been shocked to hear that?
I would have laughed. Yeah, I would have laughed. I
I
would
would
no way.
I would have expected somebody else, but I mean, you gotta give them credit. Like they just always find a way to win. Like
Yeah.
especially like in like the tight games, like the playoff games, the games that matter the most. I don't know. It's probably Coach Bo's like got some tactic that just like
Coach Bo is a winner. Like he knows how to
Yeah.
win games. That's the thing with that guy. He knows how to win games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How about you, Chandler? You got a chance to see. You didn't see Langley early. They were rough
Yeah.
early. But are you surprised that Langley's going to state?
I mean, the thing about Langley is like they're not necessarily like it's like with teams like McLean and Herndon, they're just stacked with talent, right? Langley's not really like that. They're kind of more like they're really well coached, and they're really scrappy, and they're all like it's just really Brexit. So it's like
Yeah.
they just have
yeah.
So like you match them up against a team like Centerville. It's like even though Centerville's like a better team technically, like Langley is just like they know how to win. They're always running at you. So if you slip up, it's just and then you get a free header on goal because they have the long throws. Like it's a free chance every time. So it's not very pretty soccer, but it's effective.
Yeah. I guess we're not going to go out there and practice with them today like we had planned after all that, Chandler.
I mean, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just that's their tactics.
No, you're telling the truth. I mean, I think their center backs are as talented as any two pair of center backs. But with Julian and Ryan, both of them are fast, athletic kids. Ryan is a technical player, very high level player. I think together they have two of the best center back tandem in the area. I think Herndon does as well. But Aiden is good in the air. He's a scrappy guy. They have guys that will cross the ball. Again, if you look at their club, you're not going to see any supreme moments of like these skill moments. But as Chandler said, and as you guys did as well, they're going to keep coming at you until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Herndon. Now, I know this is a team that Gage likes a lot. He gets along with the kids really well.
Yeah, I love them. Love the guys.
You'll be sending them Christmas cards this year and good wishes. I'd heard that. So first of all, last year Herndon was one of the last. I think either Herndon or Marshall were fighting for that last place spot most of the year, and it was interesting because Herndon had so much talent last year. I mean, they were stacked with pretty good players, but they just couldn't win any district games.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I guess they got a whole bunch of young players, but what do you guys think about Herndon? How would you handicap Herndon?
I think first of all, I think the two center backs are strong. I think they work well together and they communicate and they're really good in the air. And then that number 10 kid from VDA, he's decent on the ball. He's a good midfielder. And then a lot of respect for that one kid up top with all that hair.
Too.
yeah. I don't know what his name is, but yeah, he scored that. We were down a man actually, and then you guys were there, and then he scored a goal on us because our back line pushed up a little too high, and then he got him behind us, and he can finish the ball. And I saw he scored that one goal in the ECNL selection game too.
Yeah,
so that was
he
sick.
can head the ball.
What?
He can head the ball well.
Yeah, that was a great header. And so yeah, I think that kid's actually really good. He's a sophomore. So I think he'll probably end up somewhere, I think. So
one thing he does really well is he'll receive the ball like with his back to the goal or face another way. Next thing you know, within one stride, he's going towards the goal with the ball. I'm like, how did he get from there? He turns at the goal so quickly. He's got this energy to him that that he's going to be a really, really good player. How about you, Chandler? What did you think about Herndon?
I mean, I think they're like, from what I saw, they're really solid like defensively, like in terms of like their shape and all that. I mean, they got a very strong, like, I think it was a back five they were playing with. Like, because they have the two like committed center backs that are just getting everything out of there. And it's like and if you even give like Otto's gonna score eventually. Like he's very dangerous. So I feel like Herndon's like a contender for winning like the whole state, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't seen like Osborne or other teams like that, but they're a really good team.
Yeah. I think so too. Matthew, were you going to chime in here? I thought, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Chandler and Gage said, their back line, I think highly of them. Especially in high school, you don't really get a back line who like composed, who can win aerial headers, who can play out of the back. And I feel like their two center backs have that chemistry and have that technical ability to really like build out and lead their team from the back. And also their forward, like Chandler said, he's going to score eventually. So having that organized back line plus like a goal scorer up front, it's not seen as much in the high school level. So I think Herndon are favorites for region plus state. So I think highly of them.
Yeah. Well, in the Herndon game, and it's it's funny. No, it's not funny. It's interesting, Gage, because you would have won that game. You would have played South Lakes. I'm not sure that would have been any easier, but it would have been a different. It would have been a different type of matchup.
Mhm.
At that Herndon game, it was electric. I mean, there was a huge crowd there.
Yeah.
Herndon has an enormous picture, but it must have been, I think the coach said 700 people, Herndon supporters were there. And it was a great environment. I remember when you guys were walking to your bus, they had like a line of fans. It was like you're in Europe, and they were like heckling you like they would be over.
Oh yeah, they were talking
England.
a lot. They were talking crazy.
Yeah. But the game seemed very physical. Was that just because of the McLean Herndon rivalry, or are they a physical team?
I mean, they're a physical team. They talk a lot. Like they talk a lot, and they talk. Like they love to talk, especially that little right back with the long hair. Oh, I hate that kid. I hate that kid.
He's
And I
probably
hope
gonna watch.
he sees this. I
probably
hope
gonna
he
watch
sees this. I hate you. But no, I'm playing. But like, yeah, and their fans. It was fun though. I loved it. Like I loved all the fans, and I loved playing in front of the fans. It was amazing. It was probably one of the most people I've ever played in front of. It was sick. Yeah, and I think the game was physical just because it was like the district final, and we both wanted to win, and so and that's why. Yeah, and we also hate each other.
Well, Matthew, was your game physical against Herndon?
Yeah, no, we were very caught off guard. In like the first like 10 minutes, I think they fought us like maybe 4 or 5 times, and got like I think that game they got like 4 guys on yellows, and like it sounds bad, but like they set the tone like early on, and that's how they get an edge, and then they get like the momentum and all that stuff, and they find a goal, and then just keep getting momentum. And I think they're the most physical team we've played. Langley's also physical, but I think Herndon's got that little extra Brexit in them, and so this game Wednesday is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be
really scrappy. I feel like the
game.
Yeah. But I think Aiden Connolly will. I don't know. I think he'll have a hero moment.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for him.
Throwing.
Yeah, he's aware. What's interesting, Matthew, that you called it Brexit, because I felt as well that Herndon was very direct. I expected, because I know Coach Arzani has got a great reputation. So I knew he had a lot of high level players on his team. So I was surprised they were as direct as they were. I felt at least against McLean, they were extremely direct. They weren't taking any chances of balls in the back.
I mean, I didn't get a chance to see that game against McLean, but I mean, when they do play direct, their center backs have good long balls. So, and like their forward can knock it down. Their forward plays really well with his back to the other goal. So, I mean, playing, and he's also fast, so playing direct works for them.
He's very good at turning on offenders and holding up the ball.
Yeah,
good.
Exactly. So, well, guys, what about the matchup? So the first time they played, it was a 1-1 tie. And I was trying to figure out from Coach Arzani if they had a full lineup, because I know their ECNL players did miss a few games, but I wasn't given any indication they were shorthanded. So Langley did play them tough. It looks like the teams are similar. Herndon's a more of a technical version of Langley. So it does seem like a pretty good matchup for Langley, even though Herndon on paper you would think would be a strong side.
Yeah. I just honestly like they're both technical. I feel like Herndon's a little more technical, like you said, but I don't really think it's gonna be a lot of technical or people showing their technical ability on Wednesday. I think it's just gonna be a very direct game. One team's gonna get a goal, and it's not gonna be off of like a beautiful combination or something like that. It's gonna be like a scrappy goal. Just whoever wants it more is gonna pull through. So
I think the Langley is gonna have a problem with set pieces. It's because Herndon, they're very strong on set pieces, and not just like a pass header. I'm talking like a pass header hits off 5 players and then they shoot it. I think they scored against us like 3 goals in 2 games because it's like that. Because they're very aggressive on set pieces and a lot of players in the box, and they're bigger than Langley, just like man wise. And when those 2 center backs get in, and that number 10 kid puts a good ball in every single time.
Yeah.
And so but then Langley's got that Ryan Ronkovich throw in though.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a missile.
killer.
Yeah. What do you think, Chandler, about the matchup?
Yeah, I think it was interesting because I mean they did seem the one time I saw them like very strong on the set pieces, so that'll be interesting. It's just I feel like I don't like using the term dominate, but I feel like Herndon might dominate them possession wise, but Langley's one of those teams you can't really count out because they're just gonna do anything they can to get the goal, and they're always gonna have that long throw, and then that can lead to corners, and like I feel like the more headers and more like chances they can get, like the better. So it's a tough matchup just because like Herndon's like such a favorite, but like you really can't like count out Langley. I think it's like gonna be closer than people think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be a spectacle. Plus, Langley has history on their side. I mean, they have a tradition. I think they've won 3 state championships in the last 8-9 years or something crazy like that. So those things matter in close games. And Herndon, as good as they are, they're young, so they're going to have to. Their young players are going to have to make penalty kicks under pressure, or all the things that happen in a final.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Matthew.
Okay. I feel like you mentioned penalties, and honestly, if the game ends up going to like overtime or penalties, I got Langley just because like that experience of going far in the States. I don't know. I feel like Coach Bo's gonna like say something to like really pump up the guys going into pens, and whoever's more confident is gonna end up winning. So
also, I feel like another advantage on Langley's side is just the fact that Herndon is I think they're gonna go into Wednesday playing not to lose, and then Langley is gonna go into Wednesday playing to win. You know what I mean? Like if they lose, like they're like, okay, yeah, like on paper they're a better team, and then everyone thinks they're gonna lose. But Herndon, like they don't want to be embarrassed. You know what I mean? I feel like into Centerville, that's kind of what happened to us. We went in there so timid not to lose, and Centerville just like kept going at us because they just wanted to win, and they pushed the line up. I think that's what Langley's gonna do, and that's what Coach Bo is gonna do. And and I think Coach Bo is also gonna pull some weird tactics to do something against Herndon.
it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
It's gonna
Like
work.
last year he moved Dante up to striker, right?
Yeah.
In the postseason.
He's gonna pull something out, like put Aiden at goalie or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's gonna do something.
I bet you'd be great at it. It's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to see it. Let's just talk briefly about the other bracket. I'm not sure if you guys saw any of these teams this year, but Hayfield is probably the favorite. I think they lost to Yorktown, and they lost one more game to someone else, and that's it. And then they play South County. South County they had trouble early in the year. They lost a lot of games by a few goals, and then the last month or so they've been on fire. I think they've won all but 1 or 2 of their games. So South County's rebounded, and then Lewis, who got to the final last year, I believe, against Langley, or it was a state quarterfinal, I think, against Langley. I think, Lewis is a good side. They lost to Yorktown. I saw them, and they play West Potomac, who beat Yorktown. West Potomac, I understand, has been playing well, but I haven't seen them. Have you guys seen any of these teams, or do you know players?
I have a lot of teammates on these teams.
Mhm.
On Lewis, Moad.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
have Moad on him, and then on West Potomac, I have Jerry
Yeah.
and
Jerry.
Ricky. And so I'm probably gonna go watch that game because it's like a SYC little game. And then on Hayfield, Marvin.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then the goalie Ethan.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm excited to see those games. Yeah, and they've been clouding me. So yeah, yeah.
How about you, Matthew? You have any insight to those teams? I think you guys played Hayfield, didn't you? Or
We played Westpo. We lost that game 1-0. It was I feel like we should have gotten at least 2 or 3 goals, especially like the last 10 minutes. Like had corner opportunities that like my brother Derek had a really nice header like the last like minute against Westpo open, and it just unlucky. Went right to the keeper. But Westpo is pretty strong. I don't really know much about South County. I know that Hayfield lost to WNL, I'm pretty sure, or maybe they beat them. But like Westpo's pretty strong, so I feel
Yeah,
like
I thought we beat Westport 4-1, but it wasn't like it's one of those 4-1 games that wasn't a 4-1 game. Like it was into the second half we were tied, and then I scored this really like awful goal. I just like shot it and like went through the goalkeeper's hands, and then that's when they kind of broke down. And because they were like a new team by then, it was the start of the season. But yeah, I thought they're a strong team. Jerry's strong in the midfield. Their center backs are decent. The captain, he's decent. And then Ricky is kind of like he's kind of Aiden-esque. Like him and Aiden are really like kind of like almost the same player, except Aiden's a little more technical. Yeah, but Ricky's like he like hurts people though. So he's
he
crazy.
hurt, he
Yeah,
put
like
three Yorktown players on the bench when they played.
like even in practice, like that boy goes into tackles like he just puts his life on the line and just kills people. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck to all those teams, guys. One thing I wanted to ask you, getting back to like a general question, your high school career and club careers are coming to an end. When you look around at the players who are playing at the next level, who are actually playing in college, the ones that are going Division I particularly, but the ones who are playing Division III, are you surprised of the ones that developed? Like, you go back to your U9 days when you're first playing travel, or U8 days, I guess. But then now that's the end of that long journey. Your parents spend a lot of money, traveled around the world, played a lot of games. Are you surprised at the players that developed and the ones that didn't, or are the ones that were great back then are still the ones that are great today?
I mean, for me, like I think the common denominator is that the best players when you're younger on like the more high level teams are still good now. It's because we were always like I know everyone who's going to a high level around here because we're always playing on the same teams, playing against each other. And I think just that competition breeds better players. You know what I mean? But there are all obviously some outliers who were not good when they were younger and who sprouted and developed, got bigger. But like for the most part, like players who were good when we were younger are still the best players now, from what I've seen.
Okay, yeah. Chandler or Matt, you guys agree with
I
that?
mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like soccer is one of those games like there's no other sport like it. Like it's a whole new skill set because it's just your foot.
Yeah.
So it's like the kids that are good younger, they're
Yeah.
gonna have a lot more time to improve. It's like it's not like football where
Yeah,
you
can't
can
just
be
pick
a certain
soccer up.
size and pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean, there are some examples, but like the really good technical kids like are usually the best players. Like back when they're like 9, still the best players. And like the outliers will be like not necessarily like the most technical players, but they'll be the smartest players or like the players with the best mindset, or whatever. And they're the ones that like find ways like to make it work.
Yeah.
But it's like in terms of the technical, it's really hard to like pick that up past a certain age and then like improve faster than everyone else because so many people are playing it nowadays.
It reminds me of Diego Flores from your Alexandria team. He was on a B team, and then he grew and something clicked, and he always had a great mind for the game, and he just developed into a really, really nice player. How about you, Matthew? What do you see when you look at the kids that make it to the next level?
Yeah, I like when I was playing U9, you'd have that like one really, I would guess like technical kid. You have a kid that's really stronger than everyone else. But I think it just all comes down to like passion. I feel like this game's a game of passion, and like really as you grow older, like the more passion you get, like the more a chance you get to play at the next level. You can be all technical, you can be all fast at the young age, but like if you're not trying to like constantly improve as like you go from U9 to U15 to U17, I mean, you're just gonna stay like good and average, but like having that passion to like strive for the next level is what I feel like pushes kids to the next level. So
Parenting. How important has it been that when you look at the players that have done well, their parents, were their parents intense? Were they crazy? Did parents drive kids away and didn't want to play anymore? What role do you think parents had in the kids' development? Or did it matter? I mean, the cream was going to rise to the top no matter what the parent did.
I mean, personally, like from my experience, obviously my dad's crazy. Like he yells at me, like especially when I was younger, like he would yell at me like until I like cried almost every single game in practice, you know? And like for some kids that's bad. Like some kids don't take that the right way and they kind of like hide from it. But then other kids they strive for it is because they like actually take it and they get mad and they try to like prove them wrong or like try to just just be better. And from a lot of the kids that went to a high level, all their dads were crazy, if I'm being honest.
I
All their
agree.
dads were like yelled at them, took them to the field at 8 a.m., when they didn't have practice, after practice, before practice, like all those kids, like their dads were always so adamant about everything they did and really pushed them. And I think a lot of parents are scared to do that because they don't want to hurt their kids' feelings. And maybe you will when they're younger, but like it pays off when they're older and they'll thank you for it. So that's my thing.
yeah, in my case, my dad wasn't like always like that one dad on the sideline who would always be screaming at you or screaming at the ref. He'd obviously like be involved and you can like every once in a while hear him, but I feel like after the games, like driving me home, he'd give me like, like 10, 15, 20-minute talk. Sometimes like we'd be in our driveway for like 45 to an hour. And he wouldn't like scream and yell at me, but like he would always make it seem like I wasn't giving enough, which like some kids can take that the wrong way. But I feel like that helped me a lot. Like, because like the next game I always want to like try to improve and try to like give it, 10 more percent. And then I kept doing that. My level kept like increasing, and like as my level kept increasing, I started to see less of that, like encouraging to push yourself more for my dad, which like technically is like it sounds bad, but he really just wanted to just keep pushing me to like an extra 10%, extra like 20%, and obviously now I'm going to be playing at the next level, so I really think that helped a lot.
Yeah. What about you, Chandler? And watch what you say here.
I mean, like, I remember when I was younger, you definitely were like yelling on the sidelines and stuff. But then it's like, so, and like as I got older, it's like you kind of quieted it down a little bit. I feel like when I was like younger and I was like a little bit more like ignorant, I guess like you were kind of not scaring me into playing good, but I didn't want to hear the talk, like because you just talk for 15 minutes in the car, so I would just play good, so I don't have to hear that. So then you end up playing good, you end up getting better, and then eventually you get to the next level. I mean, I don't play in college or anything like that, but it's like when I did play, I feel like I got to a pretty good level, and part of that is because you were there to push me. Now, I will also say though is that like you got it's not just the people with crazy parents though. I feel like when it boils down to it, it's whoever wants it the most, and like whoever like puts the time in. I mean, it's dependent on circumstance though. It's like a crazy like quote unquote parent can help, but it's also like how much do you love the game, like how much time do you have to put aside, how much time are you willing to put aside when you have like other things like to do. It's like, I mean, yeah, because you look at like the travel teams, like the Alexandria teams, like after like sophomore year, parents weren't coming to the games not like nearly as much because kids were just driving. So it's like you had like the full team playing, but you only had a few people on the sidelines. So it's like, I mean, I guess when you get older, it's not as important, and I can't really like say like if it had an effect or if like the parents had an effect on the kids like when they were younger, because I didn't see it. But it's like it's really whoever wants it. Like at the end of the day, like you can get a boost from your parents, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is if you want it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like a dad can be so like so out there and like yell at you a lot, but if the kid's not passionate about it and doesn't love it, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I used to yell at Chandler a lot when he played. And then I have a real good friend, David Stout. I used to coach him in basketball. And his son, you guys know Connor Stout, real good player. He was a yoga player, Gage. And Connor was, Dave would just,
that kid's good.
he's really good. Dave
Yeah.
would just scream at him. And Connor was like the best player he would just scream at him. And I watched him and I'm like, wow, hope I'm not like that. And so, but then I realized when you yell at your kid, everyone thinks your kid's playing bad. Like, man, that Chandler must be playing terrible. His dad's over there yelling at him. So then that made me kind of, want to stop a little bit. And then you guys are very athletic, physical players. Chandler's game is finesse, and he's got to be, it's tactical. If he's nervous or if he's off, his level will go down. So I realized as he got in high school, there was already so much pressure on him. I was just trying to calm him down. He'd look at me, I'd be like, we're good. Because the way he played, he needed to be relaxed and calm and he didn't need to be stressed out by me because there was already enough pressure on him. When you're playing the six, one mistake, like Matthew ripped him that one time and scored. It doesn't take a lot of one bad, and that Chandler, I'm teasing because you didn't lose the ball much at all your career. But I mean, one mistake and you cost your team the game. So I didn't want to be the reason why he was nervous. So, I stopped after he got in high school. I just, if he wasn't hustling or something, I may make a point after a game or he didn't come to his teammates' defense on something. I might say, you know what, that guy's always backed you up. You need to come in there and make that tackle for him. But in terms of soccer, I learned how to be quiet because plus I don't know much about soccer anyway.
Mhm. Well, my game obviously is more like run and gun and more like aggressive, definitely than Chandler's. And I have to be very proactive for me to be successful. You know what I mean? I have to make runs. And so sometimes when I'm not locked in or when I'm not really working hard, it's good for my dad to yell at me because my game's very I gotta be always like that. So
it gives you locker room material to get you upset.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different game. So
how about Matthew? You said your dad has calmed down with the 45-minute talks over time.
Yeah, no, yeah. And kind of like what you said, as I got older, I guess not talking as much or not screaming as much, lessen the pressure. And I feel like that's also the same for me. Even though I'm kind of I'm always active and always running and always just super invested in playing and stuff. I don't really need that sideline dad screaming at me to do this, do that. Obviously when I'm walking and stuff like that and being lazy, if I'm being lazy, then I'm gonna need that. But I feel like as I've grown, I've realized that that's unacceptable, and I can't be lazy or can't be walking for a minute on the field. So and me being invested in the game realizes that and just starts pushing, and I guess I didn't really as I started pushing more, I didn't really hear my dad's voice on the sideline or after the game as much. So yeah.
I think in basketball, your dad would have liked you to have been been more selfish of a player. You're almost too much of a team player. I think that's a really good trait. Well, let's talk about the next level. And so you guys are getting ready to start the College of Charleston and also West Point. Just talk about your mindset now. There's a lot going on in your lives. You guys had prom. I think you had prom. Graduation's coming. You're getting new teammates, new level. Talk about getting your mind ready for that and your thoughts and some of your goals. And Chandler, after they go, talk about what it's like when you spent your whole life playing soccer and all of a sudden you have to find other things that really mean a lot to you because you can still love soccer, but it's not going to be everything anymore. Matthew, why don't you go first?
Yeah. So playing at the next level, obviously I haven't yet. And so I'm obviously nervous to see what it's like, but I feel I'm always trying to be ready. The next day I want to be ready to play. And to do that, I've always got to push myself every day and obviously have rest days, but you just got to push yourself to be ready for that next level. And honestly, if you're playing soccer and you're not having fun, why are you even playing? And like I feel like having fun at the next level, it takes a lot out of you, but it'll all be worth it. Like I want to go to Charleston playing with confidence, I get a goal and like my confidence just shoots up, and that's like so much fun. And I really want to have fun playing at Charleston, but to do so, I need to like be working 10 times harder. So
In this time, you won't have basketball to divide your time up between. You'll be able to really focus on your soccer because it's really hard. I don't know too many athletes that can play two sports at a Division I level like you've done. So it's admirable that you've been able to do that. How about you, Gage? You're going to be a busy guy because not only you have graduation and stuff, you also have to think about your military mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I leave in like a month, I think, for that thing. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot. But just from the soccer aspect, as Matthew said, it's obviously I'm very nervous about it. It's a whole different level. And but also I'm very excited because I think it's more like exposure and it's more just playing at that higher level at D1 was my dream for like a long time. And so now that I'm actually doing it next year, it's kind of surreal, but it's also like I'm very excited and I really want to do well my freshman year. And in terms of getting ready for it, like I feel like I've been trying to like go to the gym a lot because it's a very physical game. Like a very physical game, especially like in the Patriot League, like all the center backs like 6'4", like 220. And so, and I'm like, and I'm not, the most physically imposing guy except for my speed. And so I definitely need to get bigger. That's one thing. And also soccer wise, I'm playing the U23 team with Matthew. He's playing it as well. And so that's gonna be good because that's a lot of college kids play that, some decent players. And so that's gonna be good for their physicality aspect. And yeah, that's about what I'm doing this summer.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Chandler, talk a little bit about, you're at UVA, great school. And, all of a sudden you go somewhere and you don't have practice every day. You don't have a game to look forward to. And you're just a student. Talk about that transition.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I mean, if I wasn't at college, I just stopped playing soccer. It'd be a lot different just because there's just so much more to do. Like, or there's a lot to do at college. So it's like, I mean, it's not like I've lost love for the game. Like I still try to hit the field at least once, twice a week, and I play in my intramural leagues. I mean, and we still dominate those leagues. It's like I've never lost like my winning mentality or anything like that. It's just like at some point, like all good things come to an end. So it's like, travel is over. I'm not like grinding the same way I was, but it's like I feel like I'm like going to college. It's like soccer's turned from like everything to just like another hobby, which like it's kind of sad whenever I hit the field. I'm like damn, I'm a little rusty. Like if I was in my prime right now, I'd really be cooking everyone. But it's like, I mean, like it's cool though, because it's cool to see like other things. Mm-hmm. It's like whether that's like I mean, hang out with all the people I met. Like, I mean, I think I find my major pretty interesting, so that's cool.
Girls.
I mean, it's like, yeah, of course. And then I mean, it's like not having soccer kind of opens up like a time slot for you to do other things, like you said. So it's interesting, and it's like, and I'm willing to like concede like going from like, I mean, I don't know really how good I was or where I would have gone because I don't really try, I guess, but like I don't really try with the recruitment process. But it's cool to go from like a good player to like just like winning like everything up to the state finals to like winning all the intramural leagues. Like I'll take that concession. Like, it's cool.
Yeah. That was me in basketball. That was me in UVA intramural basketball. I was a basketball legend. So
yeah, I got two championship shirts already. I'm trying to get one for every semester I'm here.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, that's what intramurals is all about. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great athletes that can't make it at the next level, or don't want to make it the next level. And you go out there and you can compete and have time for other things. Guys, last question: if if you could do it all over again, would you guys repeat your senior year and do the whole thing all over again?
Yeah, just to live that like last season experience, hopefully, at least in my case, some things could change for Marshall. Like we win a couple more games in the district, and not just beating Wakefield. But I don't know. I want to play that last game again, and I want to, especially since it was against Gage. I just want to beat him. I've never beat McLean in high school soccer, so
Yeah.
being that.
You beat the crap out of him on basketball. You beat the crap out of him on basketball this year.
Yeah.
And so you would just repeat your senior year and just lose 2 times again, though.
No, I'd repeat it, and I'd score 3 goals against you and see you going crying. I'm joking.
Yeah. How about you, Gage? Would you start in September? Want to do it all over? Would you want to do it all over again?
100%. Oh my God, yeah. Just our team was so good this year, and it just hurts so much. Just like I didn't want to think about it, but yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. Especially, I love my teammates. Like I love them. It was like definitely like out of all the actually my VU Union team last year. Like I love those boys, but like this team was like I love them. We had a lot of fun. It's not just the soccer part, just like the simple things like going out to eat and whatnot. Like we were all friends. You know what I mean? And so just to do that again with them, and just to go farther. And fulfill our expectations. And I'm sure if we did it again, we would. So, but
yeah, I've gotten to know a lot of your teammates through the social media, Langley as well. And I really enjoy all the kids. I'm going to miss watching you guys play. I miss the guys that played last year and moved on. I've kept up with them as much as I can because, I'm a big fan of the game, especially guys who are actually good at it. How about you, Chandler? Would you go back and do, if I can guarantee you admission into UVA again, would you go back and do your senior year all over again?
You wouldn't have to guarantee me anything. I'd still get in, but like, I mean, like if it could just be the season, then that would be great, right? But like I don't know if I'm trying to redo all of senior year just to play like for 3 months.
Yeah,
it's like
like
overall I've had a better time like this year than last year, so I don't know. But like I mean there are some things, I don't really remember the games too well, but like, there are some things I could have done. Like I would have loved for us to like have our full roster against McLean the one time we lost. That's not really an excuse because we shouldn't need any full roster to be anyway. We should beat whoever we like play with the people we have. But I think we should have beat them. I wish I could have done more about it. There was a little confusion on that play where they scored, but if I would have just dropped back instead of staying higher for an option, there's always things you can look back at and like think like, damn, I kind of want to do this over. Like I regret it, but like, and another season with the Yorktown team would be great. I don't know about this season, but like, cause I don't know, but like, the Yorktown team this season was very talented. They just never really like got a chance to mesh because everybody was just doing everything. But like, yeah, I would repeat the season for sure. I don't know about all of senior year. Like, cause I don't know how I feel about wearing masks to school and all that, but yeah, it was a good time. So yeah,
as a soccer dad, it was great watching Yorktown play. You guys, I think you're probably won 25, 26 games in those 2 years, and this year the team, they had some bad luck. They were very talented. It just injuries and they lost some breaks, but they have good players. But anyway, guys, this has been great. A lot of fun. Let's do this again next year this time, and we can go back and see how the first year of college went for you guys, and see how Chandler's doing, winning. See if he got 2 more intramural champions.
I'll have like 4 more. We're winning the outdoor leagues too. Yeah.
So, yeah. Look, Gage and Matthew, I've definitely. I know Army will play Navy, and you should definitely get in contact with AJ Schutz. I don't know if you know AJ, but he played for Patriot last year.
I know.
You should definitely get in touch. I interviewed him earlier, and he had the winning goal in the Patriot League final. Yeah. So he had a good year. It was tough on him, but I think he enjoyed it. And Matthew, I'm sure I'll be seeing you. You guys play locally next year, Matthew?
William and Mary.
Is that right? That's the closest?
Yeah. Or
Wow.
wait, University of Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to
We
catch
play,
you on a
we
live
play
stream.
American at American, so
Oh,
I'll
you
be
do?
in Jersey.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely come to that. That's close. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, thanks for doing us on a holiday Monday, and best of luck with graduation and this summer. And obviously we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having me.
All right,
Yep.
guys.
See you,
See you,
Chandler.
Zeb. Yeah,
Take
see
care.
you.